Hello and welcome to Sport This Morning. I'm Cecilia Omogbe.
And I am Tahir Salam. This is what the show looks like. We're starting off with the AFCON, which is just 3 days away. The Super Eagles have landed in Garoua for a bid for fourth AFCON title. And Nigerians are rooting for the Super Eagles to, emerge victorious later this month.
We're wishing them all the success that they need in the campaign. Also on the program, well, Antonio Conte has justifiably talked about his team, saying that there is no comparison between both sides. Chelsea completely outclassed Tottenham Hotspur in the EFL Cup first leg semi-finals.
2-0, that's how that game ended. Chelsea definitely the better side on the night, outclassing Spurs. Unhappy return for Antonio Conte to Stamford Bridge. As a matter of fact, Cecilia, Spurs very lucky to concede just 2 goals in that game. Could have been
10.
A bigger margin. We'll come back to that game, a review of that game later on the show. Still, this time around, away from football, let's go and talk about the Australian Open. And we're back to square one again. World number 1, Novak Djokovic, has been moved to a quarantine hotel in Melbourne after being denied entry into Australia. Cecilia,
exemption permission is not working.
Woo.
All right, and that's why we're starting off the
one.
show this morning, talking about Novak Djokovic. Will he be or not
Or
be?
not.
But the news this morning is the fact that his lawyers want to appeal that.
Yes, that's the story. Cecilia, yesterday we thought this saga was over after getting that exemption on medical grounds to defend his title, but unfortunately, it seems that we're back to square one now. And the story is actually Djokovic's visa was revoked by Australia's border force after initially being granted medical exemption from the country's vaccination requirements by Tennis Australia. After being held at the city's airport overnight, Djokovic is now being taken to a quarantine hotel in Melbourne. Australia's border force confirmed Djokovic's visa had been revoked, while Djokovic's injunction request against the visa cancellation was listed for hearing at 4 p.m. in the Federal Circuit and Family Court. That's according to court documents. Cecilia, with just 11 days to go until the Australian Open serves up, a legal challenge by Djokovic, who has previously declined to reveal his vaccine status, could see the legal fight go all the way to the High Court.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Australian Open, when is it starting? Just around the corner, 17th of this month. And today is a 6th. So it's got like 11 days or 12 days to be able to do this. We'll see what the lawyers will be able to do. That's him right there being taken to a quarantine hotel. So he's not been allowed to enter into Australia. It's a whole lot for Novak Djokovic. But the fans, obviously, are not really happy because they feel that that treatment is unfair. Because one of the exemptions to come into Australia, to participate in the Australian Open, is you come with a medical exemption. But right now, they're not buying it. I mean, I'm talking about authorities in Australia. They're not buying it. Prime Minister says rules are rules. He needs to abide by it. But the organizers have allowed him to compete based on medical grounds. But those in the country, the PM, are saying that, look, rules are rules. He needs to abide by it. He needs to get his vaccination card. And that's the reason his visa was revoked.
So before we go to the fans, Cecilia, obviously, those are the fans there dancing and cheering outside of Novak's quarantine hotel. These guys are obviously delighted to see their hero in Australia, in Melbourne, to be precise. I was going to say that for Djokovic, apparently, there's been a mix-up, something wrong with his visa, with the visa he's attempting to use to enter Melbourne, and that seems to be the sticking point. That seems to be the problem, and that's why we're back to square one. Hopefully, this situation can be resolved as soon as possible. So, the world number 1 and the most successful player in Melbourne.
The King of Melbourne.
The King of Melbourne.
Let's
put it that way. King of Melbourne. Can you imagine the King of Melbourne not being at the Australian Open? That would be quite...
It's unthinkable.
That would be quite something. Anyways, the fans, like Cecilia said, they all are rooting for Novak Djokovic, and they're hoping that the situation can be resolved as soon as possible so they can watch the King of Melbourne play at Melbourne Park.
It's not fair. It's being discriminating against him just because he chooses not to state you know, his vac status. I mean, it is a personal choice. So, like I said to the guys before, he shouldn't be, you know, telling people what his actual status are. He's here to. This is his job. He's here to play. He has a massive support here, regardless of the negativity, and he's an amazing player. And many of us had the opportunity to meet him, and we just so he knows, he's got a massive Serbian community behind him, and we all love him, and can't wait to actually come and support him and actually see him play.
But hang on,
thank you for him.
Players got exemptions. Why aren't they sent back home? Is that true?
Thank you, Australia, for locking him down like a refugee, like a criminal. Thank you so much, really. I'm so upset. Thank you so much.
There's a hotel across from the Cameroon airport, one out there.
Fans of Novak Djokovic are right there, waiting and hoping that their hero can or will be granted entry into the country so he can defend his title and, most importantly, bid for record 21st major. Currently tied with Rafael Nadal and Novak and Roger Federer on 20 Grand Slam titles right now. So that's the situation concerning the world number one. It's a very, very fluid situation. Things are happening every second, developments every second. So we'll keep an eye on that one. As soon as we get new updates, you'll be the first to know on Channel Sport this morning. Let's leave tennis now and talk about mixed martial arts. And when you want to talk about mixed martial arts in the country, is either you're talking about Kamaru Usman or Israel at this time. But today we're talking about
Kamaru
the Nigerian nightmare.
Of course, talking about the face of fight night that is happening in Nigeria. Remember when his homecoming, when he came in last year, he talked about the fact that he's going to promote mixed martial arts in Nigeria. So he's actually putting this into works right now.
His word is burned. Cecilia just keeping straight to his words. Kamaru Usman looking different in a shirt and tie. I've never seen him in that light before. But Cecilia, there you go right there. And we're all looking forward to seeing MMA fight in Nigeria, courtesy of Kamaru Usman.
Remember when he talked about his partners, all of them trying as much as possible to grow the sport in the country, and we thought, okay, how long will it take? But right now, this is January, and it's already happening. Well, let's just listen to him talking about these fight nights.
You know, I've searched, I've thought about it over and over, and how can I help? How can I go back and create opportunities for more and more children like myself? And this was it. This was the best way to be able to do that. And after thinking about it several times, like I said, you have to be able to carry out that action. And we searched time and time again, and somehow our path crossed to where I was able to run into, you know, my amazing partners. And Ryan, Natasha, and Mario, who's not here with us. But amazing partners who had a similar vision as well. And this vision is to create opportunities to be able to get give all those kids like myself opportunities to be able to not only change their lives, but to change their families' lives. Because we all know it, this is Nigeria. When you are successful in the household, the whole family must come with you. And so that's part of what this idea, that's the birth of it, is being able to have that vision, being able to have amazing partners that can help you carry out that vision. And we must remember, Rome wasn't built in a day. You know, it takes time. It takes time to get the formula right. But it's going to take help from you guys, take help from everybody across this country of Nigeria, this great country of Nigeria. Now, we've got future plans. It's not just doing an event or doing a show and be done with it. No, we want to do big things with this event. We want to be able to change the culture. We want to be able to change the way that things are right now. By not only creating those opportunities, but we want to do it for future generations to come. We have big plans to continue all of this that we want to put into place. Plans of creating infrastructure, to building things that are not only going to attract tourists to our great country, but things that are going to bring economic stability to all of Nigeria, to eventually all of Africa.
There's a whole lot, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're just waiting and anticipating what it's going to be, because when you're talking about UFC, I mean, you need so much more. I mean, sponsors have to come in, money have to come in. And I love the fact that you have all the fighters really looking forward to this. We're expecting something really great in the country.
Indeed, it's officially tagged Face Off Fight Night. We've seen UFC Fight Night. Typically goes down in Las Vegas and other parts of the USA. So it's good to see the debut of this Face Off Fight Night. That's going to be involving mainly Nigerian fighters, which is a fantastic opportunity, a fantastic platform for these guys to make a living. And we've seen fighters actually go on from, I don't want to use lower promotions, you know, fighters go from promotions to promotions until they get to the UFC. UFC is arguably the biggest mixed martial arts promotion in the world. So that's going to be another motivation for a lot of these fighters. They want to show out, do very well, and who knows who's watching them, who knows who's watching, and you know, can say, all right, guys, it's time to step up. Why not the UFC or Bellator? There's Bellator as well. So many promotions in the USA. I want to believe that's going to be the aim and target of some of this, or a lot of these fighters that are going to be making the debuts at the Face Off Fight Night. Time to listen as well to the promoter of the event. He's had a lot to say about this fight night as well. We'll listen to him. We'll come back for more on Sport this morning.
Today we feel really good. We have Kamaru Usman as our partner, as our face. I think we have achieved this in a significantly short period of time. As Kamaru mentioned, and as I said before, it was a very perfect alignment in our vision and his for the sport in Africa and in Nigeria. And this is just the beginning. We have a lot of work to do. The sport still has a lot of work, a lot of investment to be done, not only in the infrastructure, as some of the press was asking, also in terms of the fighters themselves, in terms of the grassroots. There's a lot of development to be done, and we are just starting. Of course, I'm very happy. I'm very proud of where we are now. I'm proud of our fighters. This first Face-Off Fight Night will feature 6 of our last year fighters in the African Knockout. These guys have developed tremendously since the last season, since they came in first, because we brought them trainers from abroad. They had a lot of training sessions. They stayed for 2 months in a closed training camp. So I'm really proud. I can't wait to see these guys fight again. Basically, you're going to see a lot of fights. You're going to see a lot of tough fights. You're going to see our guys actually take it to the cage and showcase their talent. And we are also going to see Kamaru attend and watch local, homebred fighters fight in front of him. I'm really excited. I'm really excited to get for Kamaru's feedback about the fights and so on. And I'm really excited for the guys. They got this opportunity to meet with Kamaru. He's an idol to everybody who is in mixed martial arts all over the world. He's an example. And for them, this is really important for their careers moving forward.
As Ryan Fayad, promoter of the Face Nights, Fight Night, Face-Off Fight Nights in Nigeria, partners of Kamaru Usman, was the UFC welterweight champion of the world. We're all excited to see MMA bouts in the country. Cecilia, I'm definitely going to be watching out for some of these bouts.
And we can't really wait for it. January 7th, that's what we're looking at. And also the fact that you're going to be having 5 professional MMA fighters involved in it. Awesome. 5 professional fighters involved in it. They're trying to really build that African MMA ecosystem. So it's starting from Nigeria and it's going to spread across all African countries. We have the likes of Damilare Ring Beast. I mean, I'm looking at the names.
Scary, right?
5 fights.
Ring Beast.
Ring Beast, yeah. Okay. Hurricane is also there. Marine Boxer is also there. Big Shark. It's
big
also
shouts.
part of the boxers. We'll bring you interviews of these guys tomorrow, you know, because, I mean...
You get to know the fighters.
You get to know the fighters because all of them are really excited to see this come into fruition. We've been talking about the development, and now Kamaru Usman decided to bring it right here at home.
It is awesome. It is awesome. Cecilia, there's no reason why, you know, fighting talents in Nigeria shouldn't get this kind of opportunity. I've been watching mixed martial arts for a long time now. And after the UFC, there's the EFC in South Africa. It's well developed, and you see the fighters, you know, coming out, showing out, and exhibiting their fighting skills every time. And if South African can do it, then there's no reason why
Nigeria
cannot do it as well. And that's why we have Kamaru coming to the rescue right there. I imagine Israel has got something, you know, planned as well, you know. And on the long run, I think it's going to be a fantastic opportunity for a lot of those guys.
And the good thing about this Fight Night Face-Off is the fact it's going to be a series of fight events, and fighters across Africa obviously be part of it. And you just mentioned, I remember when I spoke with him last year when he came home, he talked about the fact that he also wants to partner with you know, Israel Adesanya, and they want to bring something really big. They were talking to the minister and also the governor of Edo State, see how they can also, deputy governor, you know, he had sparring with him and how they want to really develop the game. But right now, they're starting with this Face-Off Fight Night series. And from there, you know, more obviously is going to come. More is
coming. More is coming. We're excited. For someone like me who's a big fan of
I know,
mixed martial arts.
Got a lot to watch,
I'm very excited to see Nigerian fighters
one night.
You know, do their thing. January 7th, that is the date.
That's one night.
Yeah, just
5
one
fights.
5 fights, one night.
5 fights, one night.
Awesome stuff.
That's high
anyway,
start.
shout out to Kamaru Usman and his partners for bringing this fantastic initiative to Nigeria. Let's move on with the show now, and let's talk about the Nigeria Peach Awards. Cecilia, it's around the corner again, and we know the nominees now.
Yeah, we know the list are out, nominees are out.
All right,
okay,
there you go.
Before we take a look, okay, we're going to, okay, now, this is the 8th award, the list of the nominees. You have the goalkeepers, Danny Akpeyin, John Noble, and Maduka Okoye.
Well, surprise.
Okay.
Olisanda is it? Okay. William Trustekong, Leon Balogun, really? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
You know, Aqua United when he won the trophy with them. Midfielder of the year, Joe Aribo, Frank Oyenka, and Wilfred Ndidi.
Interesting.
Okay.
Striker of the year, Kelechi Iheanacho, Victor Osimhen, and Paul Onuachu. Expectedly what?
Expectedly,
okay, the list.
Last is the list,
makes sense.
The last three.
Team of the year.
Team of the year. Bayelsa United, Rivers United, okay, and Aqua United. I think Aqua United, obviously.
Coach of the year, Dupree is there. There's Edwin Okon and Kennedy Boboye.
This is going to be tough.
Okay, we'll see.
Sam Okaraji Award. Okay. Victor Osimhen, Shea Akinwumi, and Asisat Shola. This one has to do with developing the game. And you have seen what Asisat Shola has been doing. Of course, Shea Akinwumi also what he's been doing. Okay.
Football Journalist of the Year. There is Chisom Bono is okay. There's also me and Akiri and Cecilia Omorogbe. I think I know her from somewhere. I'm not very sure. Sounds very familiar, Cecilia Omorogbe.
Yeah, I think that name is very familiar. Okay, we'll move on to the next list of nominees. Okay, that's the states with best grassroots football development program. You have Edo State, Lagos State, and Delta State. This will be a tough call.
Tight one.
Tight one.
We'll see how it pans out.
Is this really tight? Not so tight.
Football-friendly governor of the year.
Lagos, Delta, and Rivers.
Okowa,
Lagos is going to get this one with the Super Eagles and Falcons and the Aisha Buharis and everything that happened in Lagos this year.
This is a tough one as well.
All right, it's a tough one. But I think Rivers State has no business being there. Okay. I'm sorry about that, Rivers people. Now, this is a big one.
I like this introduction of this award because it's so important to the development of football in the country. Peach Award, Godswill Akpabio Stadium, Mr. Mobolaji Johnson Stadium, that was the former Onikon, and Taslim Balogun Stadium. Why are you?
I think if you're just looking at the stadium and you just look at what they put in place, it's just one to pick.
It's just one to pick, right?
Yeah, do you understand?
So let's leave it for
those, to pick the final ones.
Yeah.
And of course, Queen of the pitch, Monday Gift, Asata Shola, and Uchenna Kalu. And somebody actually suggested Uchenna Kalu, Super Falcons for the last one. They're all Super Falcons. Okay. The king of the pitch.
Victor Osimhen, Wilfred, and Oluwachu.
Your money will be
yeah, I think we know where that's going as well. Too,
right.
But we'll leave it to...
That.
Okay, there you go, Cecilia.
Another Daru.
Okay.
Chinonlu Dare and Toby Samuel
Adepoji, first time football journalist.
Okay, Manuel Etin. All right. Tony Becker Yeremo.
And Olawale
Adigun. See where this is going to go to.
We'll see. Fingers crossed.
Okay.
For the Prince is Charles Dia,
Kevin
Kerete, and Johnny
Edwards. The two of them are for Punch newspaper, and Charles is with Nations.
All right, so those are your nominees for the Nigeria Peach Awards. We need to go on a break now. First time, when we come back, we're going to be diving straight into AFCON build-up. The Super Eagles have landed in Garoua, and they cannot wait to start their campaign for a fourth title. Join us again.
The journey of the 8th edition of the awards is a story of the determination of all stakeholders to create and sustain a reward platform for our footballers, administrators, and football lovers and supporters. We express our appreciation to the Presidency, the Ministry of Sports and Youth Development, the Nigeria Football Federation, our College of Voters, the Nigeria media, and all nominees and award winners on this platform. We have confidence in the voting process we have put in place and in the professionalism of the SIO partners. We'll continue to work with them and our College of Voters to sustain the standard we have set.
You're welcome back to Channel Sport this morning. You got to listen to Shina Phillips, who was the president of the Nigeria Peach Awards at the unveiling of the nominees for the 8th edition. We cannot wait for the winners to be announced. And Cecilia, like me and you know, we know some of the winners already. Just we don't have any
especially
expose,
when it comes to the pitch itself.
Yeah.
That's
but we'll wait for the awards proper, which is going to be when?
In March.
Right.
And you know what happened at the presser, yesterday was the fact that they talked about journalists started asking questions. Remember the last time when they talked about the dates it's going to be holding the match, people suggested you need to introduce the pitch awards because that's the whole essence of it. And of course they did that. They introduced that. But right now, they also asked the question, what happens to the referees? And like, it's really hard, because of the way referees in the Premier League behaves, both men and women, it's hard for you to judge. So they felt, okay, the only thing they can do right now is to have honorary awards for the best referees. So those referees that have been outstanding.
Why honorary?
Because it will be hard to actually pick the best three and pick out one. So they just look at the whole, that's the thing. They say it was going to be hard. So they just look at the whole.
Referee of the year is referee of the year. What is so difficult about that? It's like picking the king of the pitch. So many great Nigerian players out there.
Because we've seen it with the NFF awards and other awards.
What's the big deal?
I don't know. But
anyways, this is a start. Maybe going forward, they'll eventually narrow it down to picking the most outstanding referee in Nigeria, but it is
honorary awards.
Yeah, but it is good to know that they will be introducing this particular category going forward as well.
Okay, let's listen to those that were present there talking about this award introduction, what it's going to do for those referees. Demola Lajiri, of course. Shagun Arinze, so which is also part of it. Then, of course, Neka and Ellie, the partners who are ensuring that this particular award is really, really credible.
I think it's a pointer to the responsiveness of the organizers, to the feeling of the College of Voters, who have advocated. I remember last year it was about, the pitch, that how can you have a Nigerian pitch awards and there's nothing about the pitch. They've added that now. Now people are saying, okay, add an award for referees, and they've agreed, to do something. I think it's a very good thing. It's part of the transparency, the credibility of the awards, and I want to commend them.
I think it's interesting because there is those issues about referees, how really do you begin to identify that? How do you begin to vote them? When most of the fans don't know them. So maybe an honorary would be a good place to start, and after that, we'll take it up. But this year's award is the nominations are very tight, very keenly contested, and I look forward to seeing a great award in March. Also pleasantly surprised that the picture was gaining grounds fast, and all they need to do now is consolidate on all this they have. 8 years, it's not been easy. So by the time they get into the 10th year of it, it will be very, very big. And it becomes a kind of reference point for other African countries to, pick up from. And then FIFA can always look in and all that, say, oh, these are the players that you recognize, it's good. I also would like to see awards for sports administrators as well.
The figures speak for themselves. It goes through a thorough screening process. After the collation, my team and I, we look through everything step by step. The different categories, each person's scores, and the scores are based on votes that came in from the voters. And then after we collate, it goes to another level of screening. After I screen, the auditors go through it again and make sure that everything was properly captured. So we just, it's based on totaling of the votes that came in and each person's score. There's a score assigned, it's a grading system. So there's a score assigned to each vote and each level of votes. That's how we play it.
Yeah, if you listen to Segun Arize there, he mentioned Sports Administrator of the Year. Is that a possibility? Maybe
Why not?
Look into it.
Football administrator. So this is going to be football.
Yeah, football.
It's a football award, Nigeria Pitch Award. So yeah, why not?
Okay.
Why not? That's a nice suggestion coming from Segun Arize right there.
So all the football administrators across the country will have to sit up.
They're going to have to sit up if they want to be recognized at this very prestigious awards, Cecilia. And by doing so, it's going to be a holistic or what's the word now? It's going to be a total footballing award.
Okay, yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? Everyone, every stakeholder being recognized in whatever they're doing. And we didn't have the referees before, and now we're going to have the referees. So I want to believe the organizers will, would have listened to what Segun Arize said, and we'll give it a consideration going forward as well. So Football Administrator of the Year, yeah, that'll take some doing. Because we know how this guys roll in this part. So they're going to have to sit down, really. Sit up, actually, if they want to be recognized.
All right, countdown to the Nations Cup. Yes, that's where we're going to next. It's just 3 days. It's starting on the 9th, right? Which is on a Sunday. Today's Thursday, it's 3 days to the Nations Cup. And the Super Eagles of Nigeria, they've landed in Garoua. That's where they'll be playing their group stage games against Guinea.
Starting with
Egypt. Of course, Sudan is also part of
There you go. January the 9th, AFCON is going to be kicking off after the postponements from last year. Let's remember that it was a postponement because of the obvious issues right there. But it's around the corner now, 3 days to go, and every football fan on the continent are excited to watch the best of African footballing talent starting on Sunday. We're not going to be doing this part alone. That's because our guest, our analyst who's been with us, who's coming back again this year, Bada Akitune Johnson is ready to join us again. Bada, Happy New Year. We're back at it again.
Happy New Year, Tayo. Happy New Year, Cecilia. And Happy New Year to the viewers. It's a pleasure, always a treat being on this show. Feels even more special counting down to Africa's biggest football competition, which is the Africa Cup of Nations. The Super Eagles, as you quite rightly said, arrived in Garoua already. It's more real than ever before. We're within touching distance. We can almost reach out and touch Cameroon. And I can't wait for the first kick of the ball between Cameroon and Burkina Faso on Saturday. And it'll be 52 games. An average of 3 games per day for 1 month. Football feasts don't get bigger than that.
Yes, football feast, that's what it is. The very first time where it's going to be 24 teams featuring in the AFCON. And like you said, it's going to be a footballing feast for fans across the continent. Let's, of course, focus on the Super Eagles of Nigeria. You've been following all their preparations, all of the issues surrounding their preparations for this competition. They've landed in Cameroon now, Garoua to be precise, and the players are, they sound very confident. They're all talking about winning a 4th AFCON title for the country. What are expectations are for the team, and is that a realistic target?
I don't think it's a realistic target to say we will win. I think that, our course hasn't been helped by the fact that we changed the managers. I also don't think that the fact that we've had high-profile withdrawals help us. We're going into a competition with arguably our best player in Europe missing, Victor Osimhen, and our most informed player, Emmanuel Denise, also missing. But we are Nigerians. We are optimists. We always want to believe the best of the situation. And more importantly, when our backs have been against the wall, when we've been counted out, when we've been given little or no chance, is when we've come through the most. And that's what Nigerians are banking and hinging their hopes on this time around. You look at that team, Iheanacho, Osimhen, Denise on Africa, and have them decimate defenses and destroy teams. True. Unfortunately, we're going to be trusting a bunch of players who haven't played up to 20 games to carry our hopes in this competition. Taiwo Awoniyi hasn't played up to 5 games for the senior national team. We're going to be hoping that he takes a bow at this tournament and he hits the ground running. The rest of the cast in attack don't have the experience requisite for a competition of this magnitude. It will take some time for them to get the cohesion as a team, having not played any tune-up games. And we start off with the most difficult of games against the Pharaohs of Egypt on Tuesday. And how that game goes can pretty much determine the complexion of our competition this time around. If we, God forbid, if we get beaten badly, things can go south from there. But if we pick up a result against the Egyptians, it bolsters confidence, makes the team feel more sure of themselves, and it can mean that against Sudan and Guinea-Bissau, we just go on and do the business. I wish and pray for the best for the team, but if we're being objective, the Algerian team, which had a competition in the Arab Cup recently, which they won without their best players, will be hot favorites for me going into this competition. The Moroccan team as well, the Senegalese team. Those are the top 3 teams in Africa at the moment, in no particular order, in my own opinion. Senegal, Algeria, Morocco, top teams. And then the second tier would include host Cameroon, Nigeria, Ghana, Mali.
Cote d'Ivoire?
Cote d'Ivoire, yeah. Cote d'Ivoire, maybe to a lesser extent, haven't not qualified for the World Cup. They just suffered a massive, heartbreak, getting knocked out of the qualifiers for the next World Cup in Qatar. But also that can, on the flip side, be a motivating factor because they feel like they must make it up to their fans, and they've got some of the best players in the world, or in Africa at least at the moment. Sebastian Haller, Zaha, Pepe, Frank Kessie, some of the best players
Eric
in Europe.
Bailly.
Ivorians, yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's the reason why when I look at this, it's hard for me to feel like Nigeria are favorites going into this one. We would need things to go in our favor, circumstances to go in our favor a lot for us to stand a realistic chance of winning this trophy. But can we go far? Traditionally, we always make the top 4. So I don't expect anything less. But to win the trophy, that would be a pleasant surprise.
Interesting. You're not the only one that is really skeptical about Super Eagles' performance. We spoke with some journalists, and of course, they are also skeptical about it, knowing that our key players will not be there, and of course, the time for training and everything. But we'll listen to them, and we'll come back to you.
Minimum requirement to see us get out of the group, beat Guinea-Bissau, beat Sudan, maybe get a result against Egypt. Then we'll see what happens from the quarterfinals. I'm not really hopeful, but I mean, 2013, we also went to the AFCON with about 17 debutants, and we got to the final and won the tournament against Burkina Faso. So impossible is nothing. So I'm not too hopeful. I mean, on face value, I look at the team. There's not too much balance, from the front to the back. The spine of the team is missing, and I mean, you want to go into a tournament with your spine really, really compact, and I don't think we have that right now.
Based on pedigree, just pedigree, I would say we have a chance, a fighter's chance of winning the Nations Cup. But then there are question marks here and there. We're not taking our most formidable team to the Nations Cup. A striker as potent as Victor Osimhen will not be there. There are question marks around Odionju Digallo. He may be 32. He may have, lost his position at Manchester United, now playing club football for Saudi Arabia's side, Al Shabab. There are indications he won't be there. Emmanuel Dennis, who more or less was on fire before now, administratively we got it wrong. Watford blocked him. He's not coming to camp. We're left with Sadiq Umar and Taiwo Awoniyi, in quotes, rookies at this stage. So you need a formidable strike force. That alone, puts question marks around our participation at the Nations Cup and going far. If we fail to finish first in Group D, there's a small possibility of facing Algeria in the round of 16, and that could just be the end of our campaign. So if you put all of that together, the chances of Nigeria winning the Nations Cup they're not bright.
Chances not bright at all. Absolutely agreeing with what Bada has explained. But the news we're hearing from NFF this morning is that Odionju Digallo is no longer part of the team because of club issues. So he's not coming at all. So he's been ruled out. Tyrone Ebue and Jamil Collins is still expected to team up with the team. As of this morning, they're not in Cameroon yet. So right now, Super Eagles got just 25 players in camp. That's what Austin Eguavoen has. And that's the team it will want to rely on going forward. That's how it's going to be. Let me quickly ask about that, Tayo. I mean, you're smiling. What do you make of this? No Odionju Digallo. I mean, journalists spoke to yesterday. We're talking about the fact that striking force are not there. So you're going to rely on rookies to literally lead your attack line.
Even if those guys were available, we had question marks over our midfield with no creator. I know Nwakali has been brought in, but hasn't played much for this team. And not a lot of Nigerians can say confidently that they know what he brings. Our memories of him are from under 17 age grade competitions. We don't know what he's been up to that much lately, and to expect him to bring it in a competition setting, it's probably expecting too much of him. So Alex Iwobi is probably the one who gets trusted, with Nwakali coming off the bench to see what magic, what value he can bring to the team. But Cecilia, there's no way you slice and dice it and you find any positivity in not going with to the tournament. You're arguably your best three strikers. Digallo, for his experience, he was top scorer at the last one. Yeah. You have Osimhen, who before he got injured was absolutely on fire in Europe for Napoli, both in the Europa League and in the Serie A. And of course, Emmanuel Dennis is on everyone's lips in England for his exploits at Watford. Only Mo Salah has been involved in more goals than our man this season. And he plays for lowly Watford. Now imagine if he was lining up in the colours of one of the more fancy teams in England. And we were hoping that we could pair those two together, or at least get the benefit of fielding just one of them. But what do we get? None of them will be at this competition. And that, leaves you with a mountain to climb, almost. You're not creating enough now. You're not even sure that when you create the chances that they will be finished. So defensively, you've had a high-profile withdrawal in Leon Balogun. Now, Shemilogo Ajayi comes in. He's not necessarily played games in partnership with Trust Ekong. You don't know if Awaziem gets played in that position. So there are just question marks all over the pitch for Nigeria. And I feel like the team will play the first three games more like tune-up games and only get into their stride in the knockout phases where other teams would have gathered momentum already. Some of them already have incredible momentum. I was checking the stats for the Senegalese team just the other day, and I found that since the last AFCON, that team has actually not lost in regulation time. That's scary. Algeria, Morocco, Cote d'Ivoire, Senegal, Nigeria, Ghana, top teams that, will be in with a big shout to win this competition. So I think a semi-final placing is probably a more realistic target. Let's sort of manage expectations properly. It's okay to sit in here and mouth off, big targets and big ambitions. But do we have the firepower? Do we have the resources on ground in Cameroon to go and do business? The question is no. Or the answer, rather, to that question is no.
All right. I mean, that's a tough one. Well, we'll continue the comprehensive preview of the Nations Cup tomorrow. And we need to go on the break. When we come back, of course, we'll be talking about the EFL Cup, where Chelsea have the advantage after beating Spurs by 2-0. Chelsea and Tottenham Hotspur. We expected a game that would go in, maybe, down the wire. Maybe
a competitive game.
3-1, competitive. Yeah. But it seems Spurs didn't come to play at Stamford Bridge because they were completely outclassed. Could have been 3, 4, 5 goals against them. But somehow, Chelsea scored the first 2 goals in the first half, and that was it. Kai Havertz scored the first goal, and
an own goal from Ben Davies.
Yeah, it was quite comical. First half, the game was over. Second half ended goalless. Brother, what do you make of this game?
Is the tie over?
Is the tie over? No,
I'm not surprised. Yeah, I'm not surprised at all. I knew that the Chelsea team would be fired up. It's Antonio Conte coming back to town with a team that has been in form, a team which fortune he's sort of turned around drastically since he took charge. Yesterday's loss was their first domestic loss since he took over the team. Their only other loss, I think, was in the Europa League or the Conference League. Yeah, the Conference League. Tottenham, I thought, were not fresh. Since the COVID break they had, they played a slew of games and have done well in them. And high-intensity games with sort of high-intensity training that we hear has been going on since Conte took over was always going to take its toll, especially against a mobile team like Chelsea. Yeah. So I thought that Chelsea were the fresher team. They changed personnel, but at Chelsea, the quality of the squad is such that it's like for like, almost. Lukaku played, Ziyech had one of his finest games, Werner came off the bench, Havertz got injured but scored before he went off. They just needed to be a bit more clinical in front of goal, and the tie could have been done and dusted, but there's a second leg and a glimmer of hope for Tottenham that at home, if they get 2 goals and they don't concede, they can be back in the tie with a chance to upset Chelsea. But on the last night, there was only they were fluid, they were very, very precise with their passing, the quality of the movement was great. And they were incisive in the final third. And Tottenham just couldn't get going. Harry Kane's on, Lucas Moura, Ndombele, all of those guys looked shadows of themselves. They just didn't click into gear. Chelsea closed them down very quickly, even when they tried to pass, won the ball back, and used the ball very shrewdly. Antonio Conte must have been frustrated watching his team struggle for 90 minutes plus against this Thomas Tuchel's side. They were the more motivated team. They carried on from the second half. They had played against Liverpool in the league when they were 2-0 down at halftime and came back and tied the game 2-2. Last night, the quality was just too much for Tottenham. And I thought that fatigue must have played a part because when you take over a team newly and you get them running more miles, when they play high-intensity games against oppositions that can match them for quality or even have better quality, but can also run as much, there could be a problem as Tottenham experienced yesterday.
You're spot on, and that's why Antonio Conte said afterwards that there's a big gap between Chelsea and Tottenham Hotspur, and it was clear to see for everyone watching that game. But many thanks for joining us again on the program. Like I said, we're back at it for 2022 again. Appreciate your analysis as always.
Thanks for having me, and have a wonderful year, everyone. Cecilia, Ty, and all the viewers, wish you a smashing year.
Thank you. Cheers. All right, so that's it for the EFL Cup. The second one was supposed to be tonight between Liverpool and Arsenal, but that game has been postponed because of COVID-19, and it's going to be played on some other date. Let's take a look at games that are played in the NBA before we look at the papers and close the show. 11 games are played this morning, and some very, very interesting results to bring you before we go. There were wins for the Charlotte Hornets. They defeated the Detroit Pistons 140 to 111. We also have the Philadelphia 76ers. They were also victorious against Orlando Magic, 116 to 106. Victories for the Rockets. Interestingly, Kevin Porter Jr. With a winning shot with 0.4 seconds left just after returning from suspension. The Celtics were losers on the night. They lost against the San Antonio Spurs. Wins for the Nets, and the Mavericks were also victorious, as well as the Raptors and the Timberwolves and the Utah Jazz, as well as the Miami Heat and the Atlanta Hawks. But yeah, let's focus quickly on the Nets and the Pacers for obvious reasons. Kyrie finally making his debut on the road because
you can play home games
because of COVID-19 mandates
to be vaccinated
in New York. But he came back finally, and I thought it was very impressive. Of course, there was a bit of rust at the start of the game. 22 points he finished with, and it actually helped the Nets rally in the second half to get that 129 to 121 victory over the Indiana Pacers. Let's get post-game thoughts of Kyrie Irving after making a season debut for the Brooklyn Nets.
You're right. I've had a lot of debuts, but nothing comes close to this one. It just meant a little bit, It meant a little bit more, just because at this stage, taking off 8 months or being out of the game for 8 months and coming back in, there's so much uncertainty. Just how many minutes, what's the flow of the game going to be like? How are my teammates going to feel? And what's the game flow going to be? You just don't have any idea. So I went in with just an open mindset, just to ground myself, be present, and do whatever it takes to win. I think in the first possession when I shot that shot, I was so caught up in just making my first 2 points. I was so nervous. And naturally, as a performer, I still get nervous. But that first shot was like, man, I wanted that to go in. And then I settled down closer to the second half. Once I came back out, and I just said, whatever's needed out there, I'm just going to do. And I know everyone's going to follow suit like they've been doing all season.
Kyrie Irving, obviously very delighted to be back on the basketball court, and his return, of course, coincides with the Brooklyn Nets snapping a 3-game losing streak. Let's take a look at our standout performers before we close the show. Bojan Bogdanovic was immense for Utah, 36 points for Utah and 13 rebounds, as well as 4 assists. Next up is De'Aaron Fox, 32 and 6 for the Sacramento Kings. Unfortunately, they lost to the Atlanta Hawks. KD was fantastic, 39, 8 and 7 for the Brooklyn Nets in their victory over the Indiana Pacers. Pascal Siakam as well stood up to be counted for the Raptors, 33, 5 and 6 in their victory over the Milwaukee Bucks. Domantas Sabonis, what a game, what a season he's having, 32, 12 and 10 assists. Triple-double on the night for Domantas. Last but not the least is Kelly Oubre Jr. with 32.6 rebounds and 1 block for the Hornets. All right, guys, so that's it for the NBA. Time to look at the papers before we close the show.
All right, I'll start with the Complete Sport right here. Complete Sport, Chukwueze Aribo in as Eagles land in Garoua. I also have this one coming from Peter Rufai. It says, Eagles have what it takes to win AFCON. And Egovoin says, why are snob Dessers for AFCON? It's also on Complete Sports. And another story, Tyron Ebue named in Venezia's squad to face Salernitana.
Salernitana, yeah,
I
that's
think
why
the game has been postponed. Yeah. I think that game has been postponed. Salernitana. That's why you're thinking he's not.
Yeah, that's why he was supposed to play one more game before reporting to
Why will he play one more game when
that's
it was
the agreement? That's the agreement they had with the club because it was a late replacement. He wasn't invited initially.
Yeah, it was to join them.
So you have to make some of these concessions at times.
For that game, Atlanta game has been postponed. Yeah, so maybe he might just land in Cameroon today or tomorrow. Senegal plunged into COVID chaos as 9 test positive. This is not looking
good at all. Not good. All right, let's go to Sports in Life. That's the next paper. Ahmed Musa is talking. He says Eagles will make Nigerians proud by, okay, I guess that's by winning the trophy. I don't think Nigerians will be proud of any other result other than that. Fingers crossed. Reebok to wear number 10 for the Super Eagles. Maduka gets number 1. Of course, Wakali picks number 25. CAF reduces AFCON attendances to 60 to 80% for obvious reasons, COVID-19. Real Madrid won't sign Rudiger. Trippier arrives in Newcastle. Looking like it's going to be the new signing of the Saudi era for the Magpies. Mendy in final three-man shortlist. That's for the 2021 FIFA Best Men's Goalkeeper. Of course, deservedly on that list alongside Neuer and Donnarumma.
And the last one is Sporting Sun. Haaland chooses Barcelona as his next club. Do they have money for you? Real Madrid bids £41 million for Mbappe. Osimhen now 77th world most expensive player. And L'Equipe lists Salah, snub Messi and Ronaldo. That's the best 2021 first 11 in contention. Good one. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Mogbe. See you again tomorrow.
I am Tayo Salam. Enjoy the rest of your day.